Good morning, viewers. You are welcome to Children's Devotional Time. Today we have again Mr. Michael Addo, a chartered accountant. Daddy, you are welcome on Children's Devotional Time.
Thank you, Auntie Sheila.
Our Bible discussion is on lessons we can draw from Nehemiah. Lessons we can draw from Nehemiah. Daddy, what is the story about Nehemiah? Who was Nehemiah?
All right, so when we talk about Nehemiah, a very popular name in the Bible. Nehemiah was a Jew and at the time was a cupbearer serving the great king Artaxerxes. He was there and heard bad news about the broken walls of Jerusalem, and he was so sad and very sorrowful about the situation. He could not understand why Jerusalem could be in such a state where the walls are broken and the people were vulnerable to attacks of the enemy. And so he cried about the situation, he wept about it. But he didn't just end there. He went to God in prayer. He prayed and fasted about it. And one day he was doing his normal duties in the palace. But the king had never seen Nehemiah in that kind of mood. He was so sad, he was so gloomy. You could see from his eyes, you could see from his face that he wasn't happy about something. So the king asked what was going through his mind, what was happening to him. And he was quite afraid. That king was a great king, and you wouldn't want to say anything that would lead you into trouble. But he gathered the courage and then told the king about what he had heard about Jerusalem, that he wasn't happy that the walls of Jerusalem were broken and that the enemy could just come in and attack them at any time. So he told the king about it. And I believe that whilst he was even saying it, he was praying in his head that the king would be merciful to him and all that. So when the king heard about the broken walls of Jerusalem, he asked Nehemiah what he could do to help in the situation. And Nehemiah was able to lay his petitions to the king. He said, if you could help me to go back to Jerusalem and rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, I'll be much glad. And so specifically he asked that the king would give him escort or letters to the governors on the lands where he would use or he would pass to Jerusalem, so that they could give him access to the route and get to Jerusalem. He also asked that if he could get timbers, if the forest guard could be instructed to make available some timbers so that they could use as the beams when building the walls of Jerusalem. So the king heard what Nehemiah said and then allowed or gave him the request that he laid before the king. So as we know about the story, Nehemiah got back to Jerusalem and then gathered the children of Israel, gathered the people at the time. He spoke to them, he encouraged them, he made them to understand that it is the will of God to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. And many of them were encouraged, and they decided to all come together and rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. But there were some people who didn't like the idea, who thought that it was impossible to build the walls of Jerusalem again. And so they were standing by, they were not involved, they were rather criticizing and saying all manner of things about the work that Nehemiah and the other Jews were doing. But he didn't allow that to break him down. He continued to encourage the Jews, and he himself got into the work, and they did what they could to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Yeah.
So children, I believe you've heard the story about Nehemiah. That when you were speaking, one thing I've gathered, one lesson I've gathered is that Nehemiah prayed for the people, for the Jews who were in Jerusalem, although he was not even living there. I'm not living there, so if the walls have broken down and enemies can just go and attack them, I don't care. As children, when our friends are in trouble, what must we do?
Okay, so the attitude of Nehemiah is a very good one, and that is what all children of God must demonstrate. We should not be happy when our friends are sad and there's something worrying them, or they find themselves in a bad situation. When you hear bad news about somebody, as a child of God, you should feel for the person. That is what Jesus did and continues to do for us, even as our Redeemer. He feels what we feel, and he prays for us all the time, interceding on our behalf every now and then. So the Bible says that we should love our neighbors as ourselves. We should be there for each other. And so when your neighbor is in trouble, you must extend a hand of help. As a child, you may find yourself in a situation where your friend really is not well, maybe sick. Okay, when you hear about it, what do you do? Okay, it's important that you, being a child of God, you would want to go to God and pray for that friend of yours, so that
if even the person has not treated you so well.
Even when the person hasn't treated you. Because the Bible even says that we should love our enemies.
Some children who are naughty in the class,
yes.
Nobody likes them. And when the person is sick, everybody does not care.
Yes. But that is not what we are to do as children of God. We must love, even love our enemies. Because that is the instruction from the Bible. It is easy to love somebody who loves you, but to love someone who hates you, somebody who is naughty in the class, somebody who likes insulting you or making fun of you, it's not easy. But that is what the Bible says we should do. And as you do that, the Lord will bless you.
Nehemiah also sought permission from the king he was serving before he could go and then see what was really happening in Jerusalem. Sometimes we just take the bull by the horn and then we do whatever we want to do when we see situations as children. We are in school. Our friend has been punished. We all do not like it. Should I just go and save my friend? Maybe help my friend with the punishment? Or I should go and seek permission, find out who punished my friend. What did my friend do? What should I do as a child?
So as a child, you should respect authority. You should know that there are people who have been placed as leaders over you. And as the Bible says, that honor your father and mother in the Lord. It is important that all those who have been placed as leaders or people that have some kind of control over you, you should accord them that needed respect. You should not just jump onto perhaps the side of your friend and start doing things that are not right. I mean, it is like Nehemiah did. He felt so bad. He could have just run out of the palace.
Run out of the place and go to Jerusalem.
Go to Jerusalem to try and build the walls. But that wouldn't have helped him. Okay, because he needed the blessings of the king. And that is very important in our lives as children. So as a child, always try to seek permission to do what you even think is the right thing to do. Especially when you know that you are under someone. You need to tell your mother about something that you want to do. Okay, your friend maybe gave you a phone to bring to the house. I mean, what you should do is to tell your friend, okay, let me go and talk to my mother about it. If my mother wants you to give me the phone to bring to the house, then I will take it and bring it. So whatever is the situation you find yourself in, you are a child. and somebody has some authority, some
Over
control
you.
over you. So make sure you always seek that permission. Don't do things on your own. Just seek the permission, and you'll be given the chance to do what you think is right.
Okay, so Daddy, another thing I'm also drawing from the story of Nehemiah is for the fact that when Nehemiah got to Jerusalem, he stayed there for about 3 days
Yes.
before he took the step. What he had really planned to do before he took that step. I think he tried to observe Jerusalem, the kind of people who were living there, because he had lived there for some time. Things have changed. He needed to observe certain things before he take that bold step. Know those who are enemies, those who wouldn't like what he is going to do. As children, when we see certain things happening and we don't like it, what must we do? Must we be careful in taking certain steps lest we put ourselves into trouble?
Yes.
What do we do as children?
So as a child, children who are listening to us, it is very important that whatever thing that you want to do, you have to sit down and think well about it before you take the step. You need to even seek the opinions of others, especially your parents and your friends, so that you can take that step that you have to. When he came, he saw that the walls were broken, and he had to look at the extent of the destruction. He had to also consider the people who could help him in building the walls and all that. So he didn't just go ahead to start something. There was a need for him to assess the situation and see the right step to take. And so you being a child, and there is a problem that you have. It could be your academics. You are not doing well in maths. So what you should ask yourself is, what can I do about this situation? Yes, I need to perhaps pray. I need to ask God to help me. And it is very important, not even an option. You go to God in prayer about it, that God helps you in this particular subject. And then you also think about whether I can let some friends also help me, so that I can be able to, build my skill in that particular subject. So it is something that you have to do at all times. Just take a step back, look at the situation, and then ask yourself, how best can I approach it? How best can I handle this thing?
Nehemiah, when they were building the gates, I also realized that he divided them into groups.
Yes.
This group built this gate. This group built this gate. That group built. He was very wise.
Yes.
Children in leadership positions, you want to assign roles to people. What are some of the steps you need to take?
Okay, so Nehemiah was a very good organizer. I mean, he could organize the skills and all the people that he needed to do whatever he wanted to do. He realized that they all had different kinds of abilities and skills and talents, and he assigned work according to these abilities and these talents. So you being as a leader, somebody wants to organize people to perform some assignment. So for instance, you may be the drama group leader in the church or in school. You know that maybe Kwedu can play this role better than Kwame. So let's allow Kwedu to play this role, and let Kwame also play that role. So you look and observe people, observe the people you are leading, and then try and find out what they are good at, and then assign work according to their strength. When you do that, you can get the best out of them, and you'll be able to achieve whatever objective that you have.
It's true, but I also realized that Nehemiah, apart from being a very good organizer, was also very wise.
Yes.
Because there were others like the Sanballats, who, if he had assigned them to any role, they would have destroyed the whole idea. So when you are a leader, you also need to know the naughty ones,
yes,
and be careful not to assign,
yes,
roles
to those ones.
Yeah, to those people. Nehemiah also fed the Jews. You fed them when there was famine.
Yes.
You fed them. As children, what do we do? Sharing.
Yes.
What advice can you give about sharing?
So it's sharing is very important. Like I said, we are to love our neighbors as ourselves. It is not enough to tell somebody that I love you. There must be an action. There is something that you should do to show that indeed you love. And so if your friend is hungry, doesn't have anything to eat, or you have seen people around you who don't have anything to eat and you have it in abundance, and you tell them that you love them, but you can't give them your food, it doesn't show love. So you must be ready to share. Jesus shared even his whole being for us, so that through that we can become born again, through that we can, have a right to access the throne of God. So it is important that as children of God, who must have the same character as he has, we must share with people what we have. We must help them in any situation that they find themselves in. We can. If God has blessed us so much that we can be able to help, why don't you help? If you are very good at mathematics and your friend is not doing so well, and you can help, don't say, oh, when I help him, he will become, he will go ahead of me, he will become first, and I will be second, or he may get all the applause, so I won't help. No, we are supposed to help. You just help the person, because that is what, as a child, you are supposed to do. As a child of God, that is what you are supposed to do. Help the person, and as you do that, in the day when you also find yourself in trouble, when you need help, God will send you helpers. Very important.
Yeah, and I also gathered that Nehemiah did not intend to build the wall all by himself.
Yes.
He sought the help of others.
Yes.
Seek the help of others as children. I planned one scenario like your friend always come to school without food. You ask your friend why, he tells you there's no money at home, so once he takes the breakfast, the next is the supper. So when he comes to school, no food, he goes to the house and take the supper. You don't work, you don't have the money to buy food for your friend, but you tell your friend tomorrow, I'll give you money for food. You are So Nehemiah did not really go to Jerusalem feeling big, thinking that he can do it, although he had prayed, although he knew God and God could help him. He sought help.
Yes.
What do you tell children?
Yeah, so children, we have been made by God in such a way that we are interdependent. When I say we are interdependent, what I'm trying to say is that we depend on each other. Okay. So, for instance, the book you are studying was written by someone. Okay, you have to take someone to write that book. For you to get it to study, the pen you are using was made by someone. Okay, and so we are there to help one another. We must extend a hand of help to someone who needs that help. So don't think that you alone can do it all. No, you can't do it all. Whatever you are doing, even when you become, for instance, a doctor, you are a doctor because of people. Somebody taught you to become a doctor. And you can't just give drugs to stones or trees, excuse me to use that word, but you give drugs to human beings. So you always need people to interact with people, to deal with people, to talk to people, to help, and also helping you and all that. So that is how we were made. We are not an island where we are on our own and that we don't need anybody to help us. We need to help ourselves, and you alone can do it. And so you must always remember that everyone is important. You have to respect everyone, respect whatever God has blessed them with or what they are made of, and seek help from them if you need that help. And also be ready to offer help when you are called on.
Okay, that's your final advice to children.
All right, so children, we have learned about the story of Nehemiah And there are some few lessons that I want us to take home as we sign off on this program. You know, Nehemiah, when he heard about the bad news, he took a step. He prayed about the situation. Although he wept at the first instance, but he prayed and asked God for help and asked God to help him to build the walls of Jerusalem. And so when you find yourself in a problem, the first thing that you have to do is to pray about it. Just go to God in prayer and ask God to help you deal with the situation. You could also call on your parents. You could call on your friends to help you to handle the problem that you find yourself in. You must always remember that we are all important and that you can't do it all alone. You need the help of others. That is how God made us, so that we could depend on one another. So respect people, love everyone, because that is what the Bible says that we should do as children of God. And don't just stay aloof when you see your friend in a problem. Just get involved. Just ask how you can help your friend. Just find a way to help the person, because that is what God expects of all of us. And that is exactly what Nehemiah did. He took a step, he went to Jerusalem, he gathered the people, and they rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem. And that is what is expected of all of us. And when we do that, God indeed will help us out of any kind of problem that we find ourselves.
Children, I know you've enjoyed our Bible discussion. We've not ended yet. We'll take a short musical break. When we come back, we have a quiz.
Healthy eating with Mixi cereals. Enjoy your favorite Mixi cereal. We have maize grits, rice soy, maize soy and granuts, wheat soy and granite cereal mix. For enquiries, please contact the following numbers or email mixicare@gmail.com. Healthy eating with Mixi cereal.
Situated in a serene community in North Legon, behind Top Herbal, these 5-bedroom homes are built with your total comfort in mind. Designed to cater to your every need, every inch of the residence is breathtaking with aesthetic appeal. All rooms are en suite, tastefully furnished with top-of-the-range modern equipment to make you feel pampered and at home. The good news, however, is all buildings are cost-effective. Other properties available are 2 and 3 bedroom estate houses at Adenta, Amrahia, and Oyarifa Kweiman. Get in touch and you'll be glad you did. Get in touch with KJSS Properties at Adenta off the Dodowa Road opposite Fidelity Bank. Telephone 0246 397 453 or 0244 259 860, or visit our website www.kjssproperties.com.
Viewers, you are welcome back. It's time for our quiz. I have 6 contestants in here. They will mention their names and then we move on with our quiz.
My name is Shati Akura and I am 9 years old. My name is Eliana. I'm 7 years old.
Elian, is it Elian?
Eliana. My name is Brandon and I'm 9 years old.
My name is Frida Adai and I am 9 years old.
My name is Iraza Adai and I'm 7 years old. My name is Selena George and I am 9 years old.
Okay. All right, Chiate, this is your question. These people are either friends or siblings or twins. I'll give you 2 answers and then you give me the correct answer. Jacob and I have here Laban and Esau. Jacob and Esau, give him a clap. Eliana, your question. What is common about these people? Eliana, what is common about these people? Benjamin and Joseph, what is common about them? Born by which father? Jacob. Let's appreciate her. God gave other names to these people. Brandon, God gave other names to these people. What other name did God give to Abraham? Abraham. Let's appreciate him also. Elfrida, what other name did God give to Sarai? Sarah. She's done well. Give her a clap. Erajua, your question. If we say God is omnipotent, what does it mean? God is omnipotent, what does it mean, Erajua? No, Erajua, I won't take that. God is omnipotent, what does it mean? God is omnipotent, what does it mean? Okay, a bonus mark to Selene. God is omnipotent, what does it mean? All powerful. Let's appreciate him. Selene, God is Alpha and Omega. Alpha and Omega, what does it mean? Alpha and Omega. If we say Alpha and Omega, what does it mean? Selene. Alpha and Omega. No, I won't take that. Alpha and Omega, Selene. Alpha and Omega. A bonus to Shiate. Alpha and Omega. Let's appreciate him. God is the beginning and the end. Okay, Chiate, your major question. He served his uncle for 7 solid years before he could obtain his first wife. He served for extra 7 more years before he could obtain his second wife. Who was this man? Jacob. Appreciate him. Eliana. She poured oil on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair. Who was this woman? Mary what? She was not just Mary. I won't take that. Okay, I'll give it to Brandon as a bonus. Mary Magdalene, let's appreciate him. Brandon, how many days did Jonah spend in the belly of the fish? How many days did Jonah spend in the belly of the fish? How many days did Jonah spent in the belly of the fish? He spent 3 days. Let's appreciate him. He spent 3 days. Elfrida, can you link Abraham to Jacob? Can you link Abraham to Jacob?
Abraham gave birth to Isaac, and Isaac gave birth to Jacob.
Let's appreciate her.
Children, I know if you enjoyed our Bible discussion today, make sure when you are going out, you wear your nose mask. Wash your hands as frequently as possible. Have a fruitful weekend. We'll meet again next week. Bye-bye.